Hello and welcome to World of Tanks with Trapsikis. Today I'm featuring a replay from one of my clanmates, Donnie 9111. For the sake of brevity I'll just be calling him Donnie. Now he's playing in the Skorpion G, which is renowned to be played very aggressively, but Donnie won't be doing that. This tank obviously doesn't have a lot of armor, but it does have a massive boomstick with a very satisfying sound and 246 millimeters of penetration, which is very useful at the tier 8 that it plays. Average damage of 490, which is very nice, and as you'll see you can get quite high rolls with it as well. Now there have been a couple of nudges in the team, but this is normal at the startup. A lot of people are in a hurry to get to where they want to be, so losing 6 or so hit points is not something to write home about. Right, so Donnie is positioning himself in the typical TD spot on the Arctic region, but fortunately he has sixth sense, and unfortunately he does get spotted, so he hides behind the rock to avoid any incoming shells. And unfortunately his gun depression disappoints him there, so he was unable to take a shot to the IS-6, and his shot at the M6 unfortunately missed. So far nothing done, but let's hope he gets some more opportunities. Now obviously he's hiding close to the rock, but in this game where the enemy doesn't have any light tanks and no artillery, it's not that crucial, whereas normally you will be hiding close up against the rock to avoid artillery shells. Unfortunately for Donnie, the enemy team is not allowing him any more opportunities for shots in that direction, and just before he can get a line on the E25 it ducks down behind cover. Now the shots he's taking here are very long distance, so it's very lucky that he actually hits the VK there. A bit of a low roll, 456, not too bad. And now they've gone dark. Now I like what he does here. He takes blind shots, hoping that the enemies will return to their places where he previously saw them. Unfortunately, as you can see, the shot didn't hit either of the enemies. He provides good lead to the target, and unfortunately slightly below average roll and doesn't quite take out the VK. It does however track him in place, and the VK chooses not to use a repair kit, which proves fatal. Now Donnie turns his attention back to the VK-3001D, which doesn't have nearly as good armor as the heavy VK, and he takes a blind shot hoping that the VK-3001 would have returned to where he was, but unfortunately, as you can see, he didn't penetrate. This shot however rolls slightly high and he takes him out. Very nice. Now Donnie knows the E25 has been spotted up there, however we know how fast that cockroach can be, so it's highly likely that it's already relocated. Donnie stays out relatively open here, which is not something I would do myself. I would relocate to get a line on these TDs before it was necessary. Unfortunately he misses the E25 there. Now this Hellcat is in a very difficult position, facing off two TDs of higher tiers, and unfortunately he had to pay the price for it. Fortunately Donnie is there to take revenge. Now that SU-12244 is not spotted anymore, and you can clearly see that ricochet, so Donnie knows he's still standing there, waiting for his reload to take another blind shot. And there you can see the shot flies a bit high, but you can see the impact in the ground, so you know that it didn't hit another tank. Now he's reloaded, but he's not taking the blind shot again, hoping that his team spots any of the enemies. Yes, suddenly two enemies are spotted. Now I kind of don't like what he's done there. The auto aim at this distance will often mean that your shell will fly over the enemy. So personally I would aim a little low, but the results speak for themselves. So a very nice kill there, and an important one. The Skorpion G on the enemy team could have provided a lot of cover against Donnie's heavies. This was also quite lucky. Auto aim with the relatively low shell velocity of 920 meters per second could have meant that the shell flew behind the Jagdpanzer IV, but lucky for Donnie, it struck true. Now this Jagdpanther on the enemy team is hiding behind the rock there. Donnie didn't realize that he had been spotted, so he took a blind fire. Good effort, but unfortunately the Jagdpanther was not there. Now this one is tricky. You never know which of the enemies are going to expose themselves, so you don't know where to pre-aim. But the KV-13 starts moving, and Donnie takes the blind shot and secures the kill. Very nice. So now he just has to wait for the Jagdpanther, which is 1 hit point below Donnie's average damage, so he should be able to kill him with one shot. But the T-150 now comes out, attacking the 122-44. On 419 hit points, it's well below a low roll for Donnie, so he should be able to take him out in one shot. Unfortunately, the T-150 plays it safe and doesn't expose his side to Donnie. Donnie already on 6 kills, already secured his top gun. There are still 4 enemy tanks remaining, and they are quite dangerous. Now Jagdpanther has decided to move, and Donnie, focusing far and not looking close, unfortunately sends the shell right into the rock and doesn't do any damage to the enemy. However, the T-150 allows Donnie a shot at his side. Now on 7 kills, 3,200 damage, doing very well for himself here. Very nice. So he did secure the kill, but once again the auto aim could have meant that the shell could fly behind his enemy. So personally there I would have provided a bit of lead, or at least aimed at the front of the tank in the direction that he was moving to allow time for the shell to travel that distance. But lucky for Donnie, that shell did find its mark. Okay. Now I'm going to speed up a little, because there's a lot of waiting involved here. This SU-122-44 obviously decided to relocate, so he's not on the mountain there anymore where Donnie is expecting him to be. And now Donnie obviously realizes this and decides to relocate to go looking for the SU-122-44, which is very fortuitous because the 122-44 decided to come looking for him. And there Donnie secures his 9th kill, 3,967 damage. Let's have a quick look at the post-game stats. So, First Class Mastery, Bruiser, Demolition Expert 5 for effect, Radley Walters Medal for securing 9 kills, High Caliber and Top Gun. On the team details, you can clearly see Donnie did very well for himself with a base experience of 1,299, damage of 4,230, which didn't show in the in-game client or the replay because of the blind fire. Compared to the enemy's best score of 2,400, it's a very impressive amount of damage. And on the detailed report, you can see a tidy profit of 55,000 credits. Unfortunately, the 3 hit points of damage to the E-25 there at the beginning of the game, but a very nice amount of damage, most of which on a long distance, but unfortunately did not secure the tank sniper for this because of all the blind fires that he attempted. All in all, a very good replay, and thank you for watching. Let's have a quick look at the post-game stats. So, First Class Mastery, Bruiser, Demolition Expert 5 for effect, Radley Walters Medal for securing 9 kills, high caliber and top gun. On the team details, you can clearly see Donnie did very well for himself with a base experience of 1,299, damage of 4,230, which didn't show in the in-game client or the replay because of the blind fire. Compared to the enemy's best score of 2,400, it's a very impressive amount of damage. And on the detailed report, you can see a tidy profit of 55,000 credits. Unfortunately, the 3 hit points of damage to the E25 there at the beginning of the game, but a very nice amount of damage, most of which on a long distance, but unfortunately did not secure the tank sniper for this because of all the blind fires that he attempted. All in all, a very good replay, and thank you for watching.